All right, we'll get started here in 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody, hop on in. We're silver rating Windows today. We're here at the Bricky location, and I'm just going to hop in and do some of the easier puzzles here if I remember how they work. This should be Bricky was where we needed to have. Yeah, there's no point where 4 borders can meet like that. So regions must be one of these shapes. Okay. Huh. So let's start with anything. Is there an obvious point? Like, I can't have both of those. So if I had an O shape here, I would end up with a bricky. I'd end with brickiness. I can't have that. So this has to be a single shape going that way, which is going to force another single shape going here, which means this cannot do that. That's got to be connected. But is it this or an O shape? That is the question. Let's see. Would we have a problem putting an O shape here? It doesn't look like it. How about there? Doesn't look like it. Well, if we had a single shape, it would have to be that, which would force one there. Doesn't seem to be a problem yet. If we had this, we would have another one there and then there. That also doesn't look like a problem. But like, if we did a single shape across, we'd have one here. Which I think we wouldn't be able to do this. This would be where it is. In fact, just having this right here, that would create it. Yeah, so we have an O shape here. That's what it is. We're forced to do this, which means we have to have an O shape here to avoid brickiness. This is fine. That one's there. Anywhere else it's gonna cause a problem. Let me put all these in so I can really see the borders. I don't see a border that's immediately bricky. I have to think a little hard about it. Like, how many shapes? I got 13. So if I think I can just do this with a single O shape there. Yeah. Anything else hidden down there? There's a 3 hidden down there. Let's do some more 2s. I don't understand this really very well. Are you kidding me with this? Okay, so are we talking about this happening? No, we can't do that. So with this shape, if I put it in here at all, I have brickiness. Is there anywhere the shape fits? Or is it all dominoes all the time? Yeah, I can't have a break there. Yeah, it's all dominoes. That's a red herring. All right. I'm gonna do this 1. I'm gonna do a 1er here. They all gotta be, yeah. Okay. Well, this one's given. So we can't have something there. We gotta cross. We can't have something there. So we definitely need to have our 3x3 in this spot right there. Huh. This has to be a 2x2. This has got to cross. So we can't have that. So it's got to be here. And then we have a couple of those. Anywhere else? This doesn't cause a problem, does it? Yes, I think it does, unless I do this. I don't know. I was going to say this could also be a solution. Right? Let's think about this corner up here. If I make these single, I have to make that a single as well, which means these would have to be part of a thing, and that'd be broken. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, that was what that is. So we've got these happening, and then we have to have these be part of the same one. And then that's going to be there. So now we've got to have, yeah, we've got to do it this way. Okay, interesting. We're going to do a similar thing here. Yeah, similar thing here. Going to have that. Well, these are all different, right? Oh, hold on. I don't fill those in. That's different. Right, so this is going to have to move over. And it's going to move down there at least. That's done. That's done. These are done. These have to cross, which means they're like that, which gives us a 3x3 here. This might be the only 3x3 in the thing. The only other place you can put one is there. These could be part of the same region, as far as I know. Well, if they're part of the same region, we're fine. If they're part of different regions, this one has to go up. That's all I know about that. Yeah, if they're different regions, we have this going on. But if they're the same region, we have that going on. Which is going to cause a problem here, I think. It's not an immediate answer to me. How about over here? Oh, we got to make these part of a different... Same region, I mean. That's got to be there. We got to make sure these are part of the same region as well. Now, if I did... piece here with that would work fine. If I made a 3x3 here, what would this cause? This cause problems? I don't know. How about over here? If I made this, we'd have to do that, and we'd have to do that. This feels like I have to see a lot of steps into the future, but I think I have it. Weird. This is very much not my favorite rule. All right. Those are done. Now here, we're guaranteed to be, yeah, we've got to be 3 across, so it's just a matter of how far up and down we go. That's got to go like that. If we did that, I guess... we wouldn't be able to move that down for sure if we did this. If we move this up, this also has to move up. Which would put... I don't know if this would work. If I move this up, I have to move this up. And here's why. Because if I do this here, we're gonna have a brickiness happening. So we would be forced to move this all the way up. Which is going to give us this here. And then what do I do about that guy? So I think the same thing happens if I move this one down, right? I would have this going on, which means this would have to be, there's nothing to put here unless I do that. I'd have to make this happen. I have to make this happen. Wait, this one might work. I just know it can't go the other way. Here's where I think we have problems. We'd have to do this. Yeah. So I think what the game is trying to get me to do is send these opposite directions. I think that's what it's trying to get me to see. But what does that mean? It means I can't bring this all the way down. It's got to go up at least once. And then it's going to have to go up all the way, because if it doesn't, we're going to have this happen. So we've got to bring that all the way up, which is going to give me these, which is going to force me to make a 2x2 there, 1x1 there, which means I got to have these connect, but I'm not sure how. These have to connect as well. So that's it. This can't be like that. Got 2x2 there. These have to connect to each other, so it's going to be 2x2. We're going to have the 3x3 there. That's there. That's there. Oh, no, it isn't? Wait, how do I make this work? This won't work either. No. I don't know. If the game is trying to get me to make this choice, was there another choice here with this purple? Is there another way to do it? It's not going to go down to there because that creates a problem. So it has to go up at least once. But then it can't stop here because then it'll create a problem there. So this would be forced. Over here, we'd have to... Well, we don't know about this one either. So this can't happen. This is going to be part of it. What if it's just part of that? This whole thing really feels like I'm guessing. It doesn't really feel like logical deduction. That we'd have to do this, we'd have to do that. We couldn't have anything here. So if we had it like so, we'd have another thing. So yeah, we're forced to make this move. We're forced now, we can't have a single piece. So we're forced to make a double because it can't be a triple. But now we're screwed over here. Because this has to connect, or does it connect here? I think this is fine. We'd have to put a box there, and then we have some singles here and there. And I think we can get away with 2 more of these. Yeah, that's just really unsatisfying to solve. Okay. They're the same shape, and they look really similar. What the heck? Well, let's just start with the basic obvious move that's wrong. So that's now the same shape. It's not the same shape anymore. What the heck? Hold on a second. Is there any spot it's like you just can't put a border there? Alright, well let's just make a red and a teal. Now this can't be the end of it because that's going to cause a problem. This also can't be the end of it, so we have to go at least 3. We've got to go a little more. So that's going to bend things. This is it? Does this cause any problems? No, that's it. Weird. How about you? Bricky, Gemini, W. I did dip. Well, we can't have a solo piece there because now we have brickiness. So we got to move at least 1, which means these have to be different. So we've got to do that. We have the same issue down here. I think we have the same issue here. Because if it's a solo piece, we have brick. So it's got to move. Now this could just be part of the same unit. No, these got to be different pieces, right? These can't be the same. So we've got a triple. Got to do that, which means these two have to be part of the same unit, which is going to put a domino down here. Okay. So whatever this is, got to be different than that. That's got to be 3 across. It's got to stop. So we do, in fact, have a single here, which means we've got to have something cross that. This has to just be a thing like that. We've got another single there. And then do we just put a domino here? Yeah, we do. The thing about this rule, I don't know what it is about this rule that I'm not getting through my thick skull, but it never feels to me like when I solve it, I've solved it. It just feels like, okay, I guess that works. Whereas there's other puzzles where I'm like, I really figure out what the logic is doing and I feel very satisfied when I solve it. None of these feel satisfying to me. All right. Let's start with this 5 up here. It's not quite so dark, I can see the walls. Well, we've got to stop there. If we move to the right, we still can't. We still got to put walls between, guaranteed walls where the numbers change. Oops, not there. So 5's got to go. Actually, hold on. This is 20. We've got to have 4 pieces in here. And then the 4s for sure cannot, and the 3s for sure cannot. I got to have 6 dominoes in here. Got to have 6 pieces there. I got to have 4 pieces there. So we'll start with this. This is required. This is required. So how do I avoid? Let's put a piece here as well. There's no way it doesn't take this piece, which means we have a P shape here. That is forced. This one comes out, and then what do we do with it? Oh, how about here? These pieces need to be the same. We can't have that going. And we also have to have these two be the same. So there's your 3, there's your 3. These two need to be the same. Any others? Those are the only obvious ones I've got so far. Here, these two have to be the same piece. And then these two also have the same piece. I think I want to save the dominoes for last if I can help it. Hold on, we got 3 here. And it can go any direction. Like, I can do that, it looks like. Oh, hold on, I gotta have these also be the same piece. At least, yeah, we can't block this off, so one of these two's gotta come in. If I did it this way, would that cause a problem? Doesn't seem immediately like there's a problem. This way would... there's no way that purple doesn't take this space. If purple doesn't take this space, somebody else has to take the space, and now we don't have enough space in the 4. So the 4's got to take that. So it's either an O shape or an L shape. This one has multiple shapes it can be. This would force these two to go together. That's for sure. This space right here doesn't belong to any of those other 3. Let's make it something that's not quite on any other space right now. This 4 can't be any of those 3s. It's got to be its own thing. Any other spot? This could be part of the yellow. No. If yellow comes over here, there's not enough space for this other stuff. It can be part of the green. Trying to look for a space that can't be anything else. This could be part of yellow? No. If this is yellow, we have a brickiness thing. And it can't go this way. It just can't go that way. So this has to be part of the blue piece. So now, this is doable, this is doable, this is not. 4 can't go there. I don't know, I didn't get anything else out of that. I was hoping for more. This puzzle's supposed to be easier than I'm making it. I just don't understand this rule very well. It just feels like you got to do a lot of micromanaging with Bricky and Loopy rules that you don't have to do in other things, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. It just is definitely less satisfying than the other rule types. Could I do this? Because like right now, I definitely feel like I'm just sort of prodding and guessing. What if I did this? What would happen then? What if I did this? Rather than looking and going, I see a solution I can go for. That's what I need, is a solution I can see. This is also fine. If I made this a straightaway, though, this would also have to be a straightaway. That's fine. If I made this here, we'd have to have another elbow down here. We have to have all elbows. But again, it's just guess. What if I did this? See what happens. I don't like that. Don't like that at all. Where's more? Like, I'm looking for more walls. Like, what would cause a problem immediately? There. That would cause a problem immediately. There. Finally fucking found one. It's also very hard to see for some reason. It's just hard to see that kind of stuff. So either the 4 comes across this way or that way. But this has to be separate. Neither of these spaces can get up there. So if we do this, we force the green there. If we do this here, we force the blue there. Does any of this cause problems? That doesn't cause problems. How about this? We have a couple options here now. No, not that one. It would have to be here. Is there anything in common between these two versions? No, I don't think there's a single common piece between them. So how do I know which one's correct? The only difference is this version here would require me not to make a wall there. It would require a domino to go across. But the other version doesn't seem to have any such restriction. I can do dominoes however I like. So which is it? Like, what am I supposed to pick with that? So this is completely unhelpful. Because, like, my guess would be this version is better. And the reason this version is better is there's less restriction on this cell. It doesn't do anything else down here. So the only difference is now I've opened the possibility of a domino going this way, because before I had to go this way. Right? Or sorry, I've opened the possibility of this, because before I had to go this way. But now I have this possibility, which does what for me exactly? I don't know. But since there are two possible solutions down here, this solution does not cause any further restriction anywhere. So I'm going to guess it's the correct one. Because if it isn't, then both others, like, what I can make with the dominoes, as far as I see, is exactly the same as what I could make with the restriction from the 4s going the other way. Which means if the 4s could go the other way, the restriction, right, and the puzzle didn't require the restriction or whatever I'm trying to say here is that I could end up with multiple solutions, is what I'm trying to say. So there has to be one solution. And so if the only difference is the restriction caused here, then this must be the solution. Because if this is possible, this was possible before. The only thing that's changed is this. So I think we're going to end up doing this. That feels like a really, really deep deduction to make on a 3 difficulty puzzle. So I'm pretty sure the game expects me to find something else. And if it's here, if there's something easy to spot here, I cannot see it. And I don't know how you fix that from the game perspective. How do you make it easier for this rule to be understood? I'm just not getting it. That's all I can say. This rule does not make sense to me. It makes sense since I know what it's saying, but it is not, I'm not learning the visual language of this rule. So like these numbers, 5, 2, 3, 4, you learn the visual language of what this means, what kind of shapes you can make. So you're not sitting here every day going, what does 5 mean? Whereas Bricky, every puzzle I'm sitting here going, what the fuck does it mean? I know these two go together, but are they part of this 5 or are they part of another unit? There's no way to know. All I know is I got to have one more unit, so it could be a new one. But there's no restriction on it I can see. Would this be a problem? So like this here, I'm saying, this is a guess. This is 100% a guess. I do not have any satisfaction putting this in. But I know that this gives me the least restrictions on the dominoes. Because if I do something else that also works, but I have no idea if it's correct, if I do something else like this, which also works, say again, now there's a restriction there. And maybe that restriction is what breaks the puzzle. And so the fact that I have multiple solutions here that all seem to work just fine, and I cannot for the life of me see the difference between them, suggests to me, well, maybe I do need to put something there. Like this could just be it. This could just be the puzzle. It's so unsatisfying. What was the correct way to solve this? What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to do the uniqueness thing? Because that really sucks. Okay. I will let my opinions be known on this game. I do not care if you are Jonathan Blow himself. You make a puzzle game and I think there's something stupid about it, I will say so. Although Jonathan Blow is not the god everyone makes him out to be. Alright, what am I going to do here? I gotta have something crossing one of these two directions. So this can't be a solo piece. This has got to be part of an O. Which means what? Because there's no pieces in common with it. I just know it's an O. If I make this an O, what happens down here? Like, again, I'm doing what happens if I do this. That's bad. That's bad. You never want your puzzle player to do that. What happens if? No. I need to be able to look at this and figure it out. This also can't have, so this has to be part of an O. So if I made this a single piece, I would be forced to make these go down, right? Does that break the puzzle in any way? Because these could go together, right? No, they can't. They can't go together because that's Bricky. That's Bricky. No, it isn't Bricky. I can do this. That's not Bricky. Fuck, I didn't break it. Here we have another instance where this has to be an... Okay, this has to be an O shape. So, if I made this a solo piece, now I've broken the puzzle. Because this can't move over to the left. So we'd have to have that. Fuck, it's not actually broken. Because this is possible. But this, I see. Okay, so if I put a solo piece here, that's the thing. I have to put these cannot be singles. So I put a single piece here. I would have to move the O up to prevent brickiness here, which means we have brickiness all over the place down here. Right? We can't even, we'd have to do this and that. It's not going to happen. So this is part of one of the O shapes. It means this is part of one of these two. So do I just guess which one it is? Or do I have a way of knowing? That's all I know. Well, if I made this a single piece right here, I said the O for sure, we do have that, then we would have this move in. So this is a possible thing to do. I could put a single piece down there. Now, if I didn't put a single piece down there, it would be here. And in this case, we would have the O like so, and we would have a problem. Okay, so I think that gives us this piece right here. So we are forced to do this move. We've prevented brickiness. This is here, which means we have to have a couple O pieces like so, and that. So that was a little better. Like I actually eventually found a thing of logic. It just feels really unsatisfying. That's just too bad. This is a case where I'm not going to blame the game designers so much. Not really. Not like the match section where I just think they're doing really, really badly with the rule set. I just don't know any way you can make these puzzles better. How do you make this better than it is? All right, so we got our 3s, we got our 4s, we got our 5s. There cannot be a point where 4 borders meet, so we can't have that going on, can't have that going on, can't have that going on. But where's the guarantee of which piece is going to cover what? That's the question. If I made this 5, we'd force that move. What would this do? It would mean I have to have a separate piece here, but what? Who cares? So if I made this a separate piece, right, non-boxy, gotta remember that rule. So yeah, the 5 is forced here. Cool, that's a good start. It means we are forced to make this move. And this is going to be a separate shape from the purple, because there's no way the purple gets into it. So we got to make a separate shape here. And then it could bend, because that makes it non-boxy. This purple shape has to bend over, because if it doesn't occupy the space, it's boxy. This rule is easier. Non-boxy is a little bit easier to get. Bricky just takes a little bit too much like sharp eyesight for me. Either that or the game has assumed I've grokked this rule much faster than I actually did. That's another challenge for puzzle developers, is how do you make sure that your rule has been fully, completely understood by the player? And I don't think this rule is fully, completely understood. The game has allowed me to get this far without really feeling confident with the rule. I think this should have just, had way, way more puzzles help me figure out what the hell I'm doing. This 4 is gonna have to take that spot, but then it has to keep going because otherwise it causes a problem. We can't have this move up because then we'd have... Okay, so this has to go there. The 3 could move in here. In fact, 4 can't go there because we leave a box. So the 3 goes there? Yeah, this can't be a new region because it would be a boxy region. So 3 has to go into here, which means it's either there or there. Now, if it's here, it causes brickiness. So I do see that one. So we do, in fact, have the 3 go there and the 4 go there. That's good. So now we're going to have a new region come up this way, and it's going to either bend here. Actually, it will bend here because the 4 can't take that spot. So it's going to bend here, potentially go further, but at least that far. Those are set. This is set. The orange now has to move in because otherwise what it's going to create a boxed region in. Possible it goes up further, but let me think about it. We've got 9 spaces left. 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 9. Therefore, we cannot fill them with either of those spaces. We've got to have this happen. God damn it. How would I do this differently then? This way? This might be it. This might be it. There we go. That's how you do it without the brickiness. Okay. No, I don't have any, any of these. Do I? Oh, I do. Because I say corners, I don't know which direction the corner is, but I know it can't be these 2. I also know it can't be these 2 or these 2. So this is the only way to do this corner. I think the same is going to happen here. That corner isn't acceptable, this corner isn't, and that corner isn't. So it must be this. Each region has a single symbol, so then I got to figure out this one. So the dead end can't move up because we got brickiness everywhere. It can't move to the right because we have brickiness, and we also can't move to the left with brickiness. So it's going to move down. So we definitely have this going on. So now I got to figure out how to fill all the other regions without causing more brickiness. That's all. Huh. Well, okay, what's gonna be there? Can't be the blue region. The cyan region can't reach there because you can't be on the other side of the border. So it's purple or yellow. But if it's purple, how does it get in? It's going to be on the other side of its own border there. So that's not going to be the case either. So this has to be the yellow region. The yellow region's got to get here. And the only way for the to get there is through this passage. And then who's going to go there? It must be blue. The only way for the blue to go around is this way. So that is the answer. I didn't even think about brickiness at that point. It was just a matter of there's only one way to get those things there. That one, that's a better teacher, I guess, for brickiness. I don't know. There's something in there. There we go. Okay, we've got a bunch of dominoes, but we can have single pieces and we can have others. So we can't have a single piece here because that creates brickiness. Can it be more than a domino, though? If I did this, we would have a bit of a constraint. One of these two would have to go into the middle, but that's really not anything I got to worry about right now. I just know this is bigger than 1. This could be blocked off just fine. That can't, I know that can't happen, but I'm not sure what else to do. If I made this a domino, would that cause a problem, right? Like if I didn't do this, either one of these could come down. It really doesn't matter. If I bring this up, feels like if I bring this up, I can constrain the puzzle quicker and find a solution. But again, I don't even know where to fucking begin with this kind of thing. This sort of thing means I can't do that. That's for sure, because it would cause a problem there. But that it's still very much like, well, which one does it? And I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't be this. But again, I guess and go all the way through the puzzle till I get an answer. That's really bad. You can't have that happen in your puzzle game. There couldn't be that. No, it would have to be like this, and then we'd have to have... This wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen either. So I guess this is not what we're doing, but again, I had to go through the whole puzzle and get an answer to that. And I still don't know for sure. I do not know for sure what way to go with this fucking puzzle. I'm sorry. I just don't like this. I do not like this rule. But I feel like this one could have been fixed. I don't know. It's just extremely unsatisfying. I don't know what is going on with this. Like, It's not so much like, oh, I'm too stupid. Even the ones I figure out are really bad. I don't like them. I don't like this rule. I also don't like the corollary loopy. It's just, it feels like way too much mental work for absolutely no reward. Again, I'm like, what if this is a domino? What happens then? No. That should only be hypothetical, not actual. Hypothetical is, let me show you, if this was a domino, then this would happen and it would break the puzzle, therefore it's not. If I'm actually asking, what if this was a domino? Okay, let's try to solve the puzzle. That's guesswork. I want to do that guesswork. But I don't know enough about this rule. And either the game did teach me, I didn't pick up on it because it's just too weird of a rule, or the game just didn't teach me properly how to solve this. And I think you can see from some of my other solves in this game, I'm not a fucking moron. I know how to do this shit. Sorry, I dislike this. I dislike this. I don't think it's good. This can't move left. That creates brickiness. So there's that. This moves up, this moves. This can't move down. That creates brickiness. This is fine. This can't move down. That's not a brickiness. Then this wouldn't be able to move up. This would have to move down. So far, so good. I was thinking I'm trying to break the puzzle, but this isn't breaking anything. So it's just, again, it's just guesswork. I know, okay. Yeah, this is extremely restrictive, but it doesn't break anything. Does this break it if I move this one in? No, that's fine. One of these four has got to move in, for sure. I don't think this is possible. It might be, though. It might just be possible. Like, I'm sure that from the perspective of whoever designed this puzzle, they're like, there's a clear logical path. I just don't like it. I just don't think it's good. Because I probably could have had this puzzle solved already if I just went for it. If I just went for it and did something, I would have an answer already, and I'd feel like a chump. And now I'm trying to do it the right way, and I feel like a chump. Did this game get play tested like at all by somebody outside of the game designers? Because nobody said, hey, can you just look at this section? It's not fun. It's just not fun. Okay. Let's look here. Okay, if I made this a single, again, it's just guessing. I'm guessing if it's a single and trying to solve the puzzle. I would have to not have a block there, which would mean I couldn't move this to the right. I have to move it up, which would make this a domino as well. Does that break the puzzle? Not quite. There's the break. There's the break. So I can't have this be a single. If it's a domino, there's no fucking break. This would have to be its own piece, but it could be anything. Okay, well, what if this is a fucking elbow piece? God damn it. If this is the case, well, is there any way that this domino moves this direction? No. So let's just say that goes up. This can't go down because that's going to create a thing. So it's got to go to the right. Can I say anything about these? Like, the shape bank is taunting me with this elbow, but there might not be any elbows in the piece. This can't be a solo piece because it creates a problem, but it could go that way or that way, or be an elbow. This creates problems, so it doesn't go to the left. This can't be a solo piece, but that's all I know about that. This can't move to the left because it creates a brickiness, so we got that going on. This can't be a solo piece, that's all I know, so it's got to be either part of this domino or part of that domino. That can't move down now because it'll cost that. Okay, so we've got somewhere with this. Extremely unsatisfying. I don't feel good about it, but we got somewhere with the solve. We can't move this. Now that's done. This has to be a solo piece. These have to be connected to each other, and those have to be connected. So we do, in fact, have this going on. Cool. Would have been a lot faster if I didn't whine like a bitch the whole time. But God, I don't like this. There's nothing else I can say. It's just painful to solve. Hold on. I'm gonna just to count. I'm gonna do random twos. I don't care if I create brickiness at the moment. I create them. I'm doing it this way just so I can say there's 40 left. Yep. There's nothing left over. I've got to make this without brickiness. And I think as long as I just make a pattern that doesn't cause corners like this and allows the 40 to reach everywhere, we're good. So, okay, nope, we're not doing the, we're going to treat this as if it's a game that's made this well. Size separation is also going to help. We can't do this. So the twos cannot touch each other and they cannot kitty corner to each other. So that means this two can never move left. Okay, that's a logical step. That feels good. Good puzzle design. It can't move up. This one's forced to go to the right, which means this one's forced to go to the right as well. This one's forced to move neither of those directions. Neither of those directions. This one can't move right. That's all we know about it. This guy can't move to the right or down, so we've got that settled. That's settled. That's settled. This has to move down. This has to move right, right, down. No, we can't do that. Hold on. Let's move the other way. Can't move. Oh, move up. Up is allowed. Up is allowed. All right. That's actually a puzzle. I would say somewhat satisfying to solve. I mean, it's a little bit too simple to get like, wow, that was amazing. But like, at least, thank God, I felt like I was doing something here. Brickiness. So I'm guessing 33. 26. If I made these 13 separate, we wouldn't have enough left over for 9s. Now, if I made the 9s part of the same thing, 18 plus 13 is 31. Okay. We're going to have something interesting going on here. Well, I know for sure the 13's got to come out this way. Now, it can't go there, because then it can't take either of these spots, leaving brickiness. So it has to go like this, at least. Is there any way for it to reach this other 13? It looks like there indeed is. But now these 9s are causing a problem. Let's see. That's 8. That's 9. And then this is 9. That's 9. This might just be it. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Oh, thank God. I can put this away for a few bits. Good grief. Okay, disappointing end. I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sitting through all that bullshit, and I'll see you around. Bye.